up, everybody? This is Scott from NorthToronto.com, and it's time for another edition of What's Spinning. In this edition of What's Spinning, I'm going to be talking about my 10 favorite guitar players, not necessarily my top 10, just 10 of my favorite guitar players. And this is actually in response to EJD715, my good friend Eric, who lives in New Mexico, which is where I'm from, and who's having a contest for 100, 300, 3,000, I can't remember the number, subscribers. Doesn't matter. If you're not subscribed to Eric, check out his channel. I'm going to put a link below. Talks a lot about metal, hard rock, progressive rock, a little bit of old school stuff like the Beatles. Yeah, check out his channel. And his question was, list 5 of your favorite guitar players and tell us what you like about them. I'm going to go ahead and go with 10, and that's leaving out a lot for me, because there's the shredders that I totally love, guys like Joe Satriani, Yngwie Malmsteen, Impalter. There's total shredders that I just think are fantastic. I'm not going to include any of those kind of guitar players. Then there's the thrash metal players, guys like Jeff Waters and Dave Mustaine, who just have that incredible thrash metal riffing and style. Again, some of my favorite guitar players. Marty Friedman could be in that list as well. And then there's the dual guitar bands, bands like Wishbone Ash and Thin Lizzy, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, where they have 2 guitar players that really complement each other. So I'm not going to list any of those either. I'm going to stick to mostly guitar players that came out of the 70s and have either solo albums or bands under their own name. So I'm going to start with number 10. These aren't necessarily in order, but we'll say they are just for the video. I'm going to start off with Pat Travers Band. Pat Travers is a guitar player, like I said, came out in the 70s. Hard rock guitarist, very bluesy feel, plays with a lot of charisma. He may not be technically one of the best guitar players. I don't know, maybe he is, but he probably can't out-shred Yngwie. Not the point. The point is the guy plays with a ton of feel, and I love his style. I even like his vocals. Even like an album like this one, Crash and Burn. You got songs on here that have kind of a reggae feel. You got songs on here kind of a blues feel. You got pure, heavy, hard rock. Snorting whiskey and drinking cocaine. Just a great album, a great guitar player. Really, I like his whole catalog, even his bluesier stuff. So yeah, Pat Travers, number 10, one of my favorite guitar players. Next guitar player, a little bit different for me. Came out of the 70s, out of a band called Glass Harp. This is Phil Keaggy, and I'm a huge fan of, especially this particular album right here. When I just had a little story about this one. When I was a kid in high school, I used to go to a youth group, and I had a youth pastor who I adore, and I still think of him fondly today. His name was Kevin, and when I was in high school, I listened to same stuff, lots of stuff I listen to now. Listening to Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith and Ted Nugent and Judas Priest and Black Sabbath, and of course going to a youth group every Sunday. They weren't too keen on those bands, and I was going to a Baptist church, so they were always trying to push off other stuff on me. Keith Green and B.J. Thomas and stuff like that, and frankly, it just didn't hold up. The Who, B.J. Thomas, it's just no comparison. But my youth pastor played me this album right here by Phil Keaggy, master musician. I was impressed, and I became a fan, and I'm still a fan of Phil Keaggy's music today. The guy is just a phenomenal guitar player. There's a rumor going around about him that Jimi Hendrix said that someone said, how does it feel to be the greatest guitar player ever? Jimi Hendrix said, I don't know, ask Phil Keaggy. It's probably not true, but regardless, Phil Keaggy, awesome guitar player. Actually like his instrumental albums quite a bit. Listen to those quite a bit. He's got several of them, but he also has some more straightforward rock albums with vocals. Master Musician is one of my favorites, though. Phil Keaggy. And next up, this is not going to be a shocker for anybody who knows I'm a huge Aerosmith fan. So Joe Perry. This happens to be his first solo album when he left Aerosmith. The Joe Perry Project. Very heavy, campy rock. Joe was never one of the more flashy guitar players, but he plays with feel and charisma. You can tell it's Joe. Hugely inspired by everybody. Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, Jimi Hendrix, but also he was also influenced by the stuff that was modern at the time. You can kind of hear a little bit of a punk influence in some of this stuff. You can hear a little bit of T-Rex in some of this stuff. And I've always actually liked Joe's can't sing, don't care vocal style as well. This here, their first solo album, Let the Music Do the Talking, heavy album from 1980, actually. I believe this album came out. Might have been 81. But no, I think it was 1980. Anyhow, Aerosmith, one of my favorite bands. Joe Perry, one of my favorite guitar players. Let the music do the talking. Next guitar player, hugely inspired by Jimi Hendrix. This is Uli Roth. From the Scorpions, was his first solo album after leaving the Scorpions under the name Electric Sun, although now if you buy this album on CD, it actually says Uli Roth, Electric Sun, Earthquake. But regardless, this is a fantastic Hendrix-inspired guitar rock. Uli's vocals, very odd. I've grown to like him over the years, but I gotta confess, when I first started listening to him, when he was with the Scorpions, and I just went ahead and pulled out a Scorpions album as well, this being one of my favorite Scorpions albums, in Trance. Yeah, his vocals are a little bit odd, you know. He has a style like Joe Perry, can't sing, don't care, but his vocals are definitely odd. Regardless of his vocal style, I love his guitar playing. Again, he plays with feel, he plays with passion, and he's got a charisma and a style that's all his own. You know, you listen to any of the Scorpions albums that he's on, and you could just hear that guitar style. After he left, it changed. You know, the Scorpions changed, their sound changed, and it was because of Uli Roth. He just had that sound, that charisma. Moving on to Gary Moore. One of my favorite guitar players. Gary passed away a few years ago. Love his stuff with Thin Lizzy, love his solo stuff, Skid Row, stuff he's done with Phil Lynott. Again, another guitar player who plays with a lot of feel and charisma. Technically one of the best, I don't know. You know, I don't know if he would, you know, outshred Impalteri or not, who knows. But he had a style all his own, he had a charisma and a feel that I really enjoy. And I like his singing as well. He's got a great singing voice, and he's a great songwriter too. I far preferred his 70s and early 80s rock stuff to his blues stuff, which I also liked. But the blues stuff seemed a little more generic to me. This rock stuff seemed like it had a little more feel, a little more, I don't know, style. Perhaps it was just more my style. But again, it's Gary Moore. I like anything Gary Moore's recorded. This happens to be Back on the Streets, which features Phil Lynott on bass and vocals on some tracks. And they actually do a cover of, what song is on here that I was thinking they did a cover of? Excuse me. No, Don't Believe a Word. Reworking of, it's actually a slow blues version of the heavier Thin Lizzy song. As well as Parasine Walkways on here, which is one of, you know, Phil and Gary's greatest songs that they composed together. Another guitar player hugely inspired by Jimi Hendrix, Robin Trower. Another guitar player, just has so much feel, so much charisma and style. It's just, I don't know, when I hear his music, it drags me, it draws me in, and I just almost can close my eyes and just see the music as well as hear it and feel it. Silly, maybe, but it's just the way it is. With especially this album, Bridge of Sighs, just a fantastic album. I would not call him a Hendrix clone. Hugely Hendrix inspired. I love his guitar tone. He gets that very heavy, especially for the 70s guitar tone. Very different from the band that he came out of before this. But yeah, again, bluesy, hard rock, a little mixture of everything. You know, in the 70s, bands were less confined to having to be in one style. They were able to do, you know, ballads and slow blues and heavy blues and hard rock and heavy metal. And that's what Robin Trower offered. Great guitar player. And I also pulled out the live album just because that one didn't show a picture of him, and there's a Robin right there. So, Robin Trower live. Another great album. Keeping up. Don't want this video to be too long, but another one of my all-time favorite guitar players, and you know, I'm going to be repeating myself because another guitar player just has so much feel to me. Frank Marino, from the band Mahogany Rush. This was one of his solo albums. I believe this was his second album without the Mahogany Rush title on it. This is actually one of my favorite albums of all time. Heavy riffs, heavy guitar playing, but ton of feel. And again, Marino has his own style. You know, you could just, he's a pure musician. You know, you can just tell that he loves playing the guitar because he loves music. He wasn't doing it for, you know, like a Gene Simmons, who was looking for money and fame and girls. Not that he was against any of those things, but you know, you could just tell he was a musician at heart, and you can just feel that in the music. On this album, a song like Juggernaut or excuse me, Strange Dreams, awesome song. Or I'm trying to think of the name of the song. Stories of Heroes. I mean, so much raw emotion in that song, you know. There's not a bad song on this album, though. This is one of those albums that it's kind of funny. I listen to this one on the airplane a lot. And when I go on the airplane trips, it's one of the albums I go to just to sit back and relax and kick back and hear. It just relaxes me. So, great album from Frank Marino. So, next three are probably going to be no surprise for people who know me, but Ace Frehley from Kiss. Definitely not one of the most technical guitar players in the world. You know, there's probably tons of guitar players better than him, but it's not about who's better, it's about who you like, and Ace just has a style that I love. This was his first solo album from 1978 when he was still with Kiss, but I even like all the stuff he's done, you know, since leaving Kiss and going back to Kiss and then leaving Kiss again. Just simple guitar playing, simple rock stuff, but he just keeps it. I think it's the simplicity that I like so much about him. And then he definitely has his own style. He's charismatic. He's, you know, you hear an Ace solo, you know it's Ace. You hear an Ace Frehley song, it's obviously Ace. Yeah, this fantastic album. You know, then there's the song on here, the instrumental song that ends the album, Fractured Mirror. That song actually has 3 other parts on other albums. I actually put all those songs together on my iPod, and great way to relax. Just sit back and listen to all the fractured songs together. Yeah, one of my favorite guitar players, Ace Frehley from Kiss. No surprise being a Kiss fanatic that I am, but I like his solo stuff as much as I like Kiss stuff, so therefore I felt it was okay to include him. Probably one that's no surprise. Everybody's, you know, talks about this guy as being one of the greatest guitar players in the world, but I happen to agree, Jimi Hendrix. I mean, you know, how many guitar players have aspired to become and sound like him? He was an innovator. You know, he changed the game for hard rock, for heavy metal, for you know, everything that came after him. People were trying to do the things that he did. People are still trying to do the things that he did. Even with, you know, the major technology changes over the years, they're still trying to do the stuff he did with the most simplistic stuff. You know, a wah pedal and a guitar and an amp. Again, feel, charisma, style, and he just another guitar player that I just can sit and listen to and just kick back and just be drawn in. You know, it's never background noise for me. It just grabs my attention. And this is the first album from Jimi Hendrix Experience. Fantastic album. Some of the shorter songs on here. I don't even know if this will be my favorite Jimi Hendrix album. I'd probably go with Electric Ladyland is my favorite. But I mean, there's no denying this is just a classic album. Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are you experienced? And number one, I'm sure this is going to be a big shocker to everybody who's watching my channel for more than a day. Ted Nugent. I'm a huge Nugent fan. I have been since I was a kid. Literally, the guy's loud, abrasive, obnoxious. He is the alpha male. You can tell in his guitar playing. You can tell in his vocals. You can tell in his songwriting. It's, you know what? He is the alpha male. Again, feel, charisma, style. You know, his feel, charisma, style, completely different from that of like a Robin Trower or even a Frank Marino or Jimi Hendrix. But still, you hear a Ted Nugent riff, you know it's Ted Nugent. You hear a Ted Nugent guitar solo, it's obviously Nugent. You know, that tone that he gets from those hollow body guitars that he plays, all that feedback that he uses to create sound, all that. I just love all that stuff. So yeah, number one on my list, no shocker, Ted Nugent. And so there you go. That's what's spinning. That is my top 10 favorite guitar players, at least, you know, for today. But I just want to say congratulations to Eric. I love your channel. Love you, brother. And thanks for asking the question and for putting the contest on. Don't really care if I win or not. It's not about that for me. I just really appreciate you, brother. And I hope others will check out your channel too. Let me know what you think of my list. Add something to it. Thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Lots more videos to come. Lots more vinyl to show, CDs, memorabilia, whatnot. That's it for now. God bless. Stay strong. A little side note. I really wanted to say, was playing in the background the whole time I've been yammering on about guitar players. A little demo by my friend Ben. Ben is from Austria. Really enjoy this album. He's a guitar player. Mellow, but very personal. Quite enjoy it. So check out Ben's channel, Ryan Rocks, as well. That's it. Thanks for watching.